All good. We'll talk about this on the show. I'm going live here, and I'll play the music.
Observations with Robert Meyer Burnett.
That was weird. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and your... I don't have a Hot Toys nickname, I don't know, but I'm Robert Meyer Burnett, and this is episode 6 of Fully Articulated, and let me introduce my co-host, my favorite man, my favorite... What is the town you live in, sir? What is that, burg?
Oh, I'm in Yorkshire.
You're my favorite Yorkshire man, as I've always said, as HeelsvsBabyFace himself, all the way from the UK. As welcome to this crazy show that I can't believe it was supposed to be a one-off. And
the High Lord of Hot Toys.
The High Lord of Hot Toys. Yeah, I like that. Although, you know what? I think that Justin Kane should be the High Lord of Hot Toys.
He's not here.
I know he's not here, but I'll take it now. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I love the show. I love doing this show. It's I always get excited. No matter I've had a difficult week, and no matter how difficult a week you're having or how down you're having or you are, I do this show and it's an automatic high. It's just an automatic high because I love doing this. The audience are great, the interactions are great, and I think it's that upbeat moment of the week that you just can't help.
Look, I agree with you. I never figured out, like, a lot of people, as they reach middle age or have middle age crazies, go out and buy sports cars or get mistresses or, do things like that. And I prefer our action figure obsession. I think it's healthier. I think the fact that we can share our middle age crazy with the world that really isn't a middle age crazy since it's been instilled in us from a very early age.
Oh,
it's great to be here with you, to have a friend, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that shake their heads at us and wish they were us. No, shake their heads at us and wonder, why are these guys, are you going to grow up? We talk about that all the time, but I mean, what if we have something that brings us joy, why not share it with the world?
Exactly. Why should we conform to what society says we should be doing? Why don't we have the audacity?
Oh yeah,
to tread our own path.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't have to explain myself.
I think it was a different place. I think the internet changed everything.
I think so too.
Pre-internet, there was a very kind of set way that you should live your life. But post-internet, there isn't. Because the internet offers so much and allows so many connections to people.
Yes.
We live our lives is fundamentally changed. So the expectations of, well, you're in your mid-40s, you should go and do this now, and no.
It's true. Like, why should we have to explain ourselves? Why not just enjoy it? How many people have the kind of joy that we have in our lives, provided by little 6-scale plastic people?
And I've had a lot of joy delivered.
Really?
There's some stuff which I've had on order for a while. Which has arrived, and only one of them is a hot toy. They're all 1-in-6s, but only one of them is a hot toy.
That's what she said.
You ladies.
So, well, would you like to start out giving us a little indication of that loveliness that you have acquired this week?
Okay. I need to set something up first, so you might have to...
well, then, okay, while you're setting up, I'd like to deal with some news. Okay. Some news today. You set up, and I'll take you off camera because there's going to be news.
Yeah.
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gentle beings, kind souls from across these 28 known galaxies, every week they announce different kinds of figures. And a lot of the kinds of figures we like are third-party figures, figures that are, let's just say, unlicensed. And they usually come from our friends over in China. God love them. They're action figure fans. And if you love Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, Az sent me these lovelies. Look at this. Now, I already have the Heisenberg and the Saul figures that were made by 30 Toys, but look at this third party. Oh, Mike Ehrmantraut, look at that. That is a third-party figure of Mike that'll be available later this year. You can order this both from Toys Wonderland or 1/6 Outfitters. Look at that figure. They've never made one. I want a Jonathan Banks figure because I love Wise Guy. Wise Guy, one of my favorite shows of the late 80s. By the way, star Ken Wall just followed me on Twitter. One of the greatest moments of my life. But not to be, he was great in Beverly Hills Cop. Yes, he was Victor Maitland's gunman. And then we have, of course, Giancarlo Esposito as Gus Fring. Now, isn't it incredible? Hot Toys is actually making a Giancarlo Esposito figure. Moff Gideon is coming out in 6 scale, but here we have Gustavo Fring, the man who runs Los Pollos Chicken. Woohoo! And I think Az is ready. I'm going to go back to Az. Az, take it away, sir.
Oh boy.
Oh. Oh my God.
It is the Mark 85. It is now, and it's on a flight stand as well. It is now out. I've put every LED into it, although I haven't turned them all on. I've turned the helmet, the chest plate, and the gauntlet on.
Bruh.
Bruh.
I'm paying that off, by the way, just so you know.
Well, you're paying it off, dude, and I'm holding it in my hand.
I know. You know, that is that. You know, that's the last, theoretically, the last Iron Man armor until we get Ironheart or we've got.
No, there's the battle damage.
Oh, well, yeah, that is correct.
There's the battle damage to come, but look at hey.
Dude. Now you have to explain to the kids at home that this is in fact a die-cast figure.
This is heavy.
Yeah. And the Hot Toys, I think the Hot Toys die-cast Iron Man armor are probably the most impressive action figures made. Could you dip it down a little bit in the frame? Just go down a little bit. Yeah, that's you can see the whole thing. There you go.
Yeah.
That is one gorgeous action figures. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is a weighty Betty. And the I actually found the to put the batteries in really easy.
Oh, that's
really
good.
Easy. You take off the thigh, literally like the whole thigh connector for the leg. The back comes out easily, and you take off the tricep for the arms. And then
I love how the gauntlet looks.
Oh, the gauntlet! Yeah, I put the nano gauntlet on. You can have just regular as well, and obviously you do get the repulsor hands too. There is a head sculpt for Robert Downey Jr. and I think it's meant to be the Mark 51, but I don't know. It kind of looks like the controversial one, which I really wanted. But I like it. Put it this way, I like it regardless. And oh God, when this arrived this morning, I was just like, "How wow!"
Hey,
it's heavy. It's a weighty boy. I got lactic acid built up in my shoulder just holding out for so long.
Okay, you got to get out more.
I do. Look, dude, the UK's been classed as one of the worst lockdown countries ever. In all of the lockdowns. So yeah, I'm going to turn off the LEDs because obviously they burn so bright for such a short period of time, which is such a shame. So I shall leave those for another day. But it is beautiful. Just the little bits of battle damage, just little scuffs on it, a little bit of weathering on it. Really is. And I didn't think I was, but I absolutely adore his new arc reactor.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
It's just because you see it close up, you can't see on here because the light, but there's so much detail in it. If you look at it, there's so much detail in that arc reactor, and so when it's all lit up, it just looks a doozy.
Yeah,
absolute doozy. So yes, that arrived this morning and put a whopping great big smile face. And I wanted to get that out of the way first because I put that up on Instagram.
Bruh.
And there is a couple of others which, yeah, I got a couple of meaningful ones coming up for me anyway.
Well, that is very cool. That is very cool. So I guess should I show something then?
Yeah, you go do your thing, and I'm
okay.
Gonna turn off.
I figured it is February and it is Black History Month, and I figured, you know, one of I really enjoy that I have a very diverse action figure collection. I never thought of action figures as having a race, but I wanted to talk about some of that because it's Black History Month, and I wanted to show perhaps my favorite black action figure, which is a third-party figure. I admit I don't want him to get mad because I greatly respect this actor. And since Justin Kane over on Justin's Collections, his channel on YouTube, has been showing his Dark Knight figures, I figured I would bring on kill two birds with one stone. This is Lucius Fox, Morgan Freeman himself. And as a third-party figure goes, would you look at this figure? By God, do I love this. This is one of my... Now, I have to say, the glasses he came with... Actually, I should have set them down on his ears more. But I love this figure. And this is... The outfit is incredible. I love his bow tie. You can't really... He's got a scarf in here, and he's layered up. You can't wear... I used to love layering clothes. I loved wearing sweaters and Izod shirts underneath. I love this figure. I mean, let me get the head a little closer in there. And I mean, this is a third-party sculpt. There's life in these eyes. I love this figure. Now, he comes with things like, check this out. Well, let's see if I can get close. He comes with this clipboard of whatever he's working on. Yeah. And he also came with this really kind of cool briefcase that has, I guess, Wayne Industries tech. But, you know, the fact that this figure is, I love this figure so much. And, you know, it bums me out because they made an Alfred. You know, if you buy the Hot Toys made an Alfred, and look, I know that it's probably a tough sell to be like, we want to make Lucius Fox. As far as an action figure goes, you know, it's not exactly the most dynamic character. He doesn't fight. But for me, Morgan Freeman's one of the finest actors of our generation. Well, I love him so much. And to have, because I have a civilian Jim Gordon hot toy, I have a Alfred hot toy in civilian garb, I got the Bruce Wayne and Natalie dressed. I love the fact that I have a civilian Morgan Freeman, Lucius Fox. This is actually one of my favorite action figures of all. And I love that they made him. There's a couple of third-party figures, and this was made like 5 years ago. There's a couple of third-party figures that are coming out of Lucius Fox. You can find more of him, but I haven't seen one that has made me want to pre-order as much. I would be hard-pressed to find a Lucius Fox that I like more than this one. Yeah, and he is more. He is against Black History Month because he says, as he has said, and there's a great interview with him online where he says, Black history is just history, and but. Yeah, that's what he says. 1 month a year. And hang on 1 second. Hang on. Can you start that again? Take that again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Does it mute me when I go to the thing with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman, ironically, of course, is against Black History Month, as you know, he is quite correct. Black history is history. So to have it reduced to 1 month a year, no. And he also came out with the, you know, the great phrase when he was talking to that interviewer, because it is a great interview. He was talking to him, and he said, you know, how do we, you know, sort of get you, I'm paraphrasing, of course, you know, how do we start to tackle, you know, talking between black people and white people? And he said, well, first of all, stop calling me a black person, just call me a person, you know, and that's brilliant. It's just brilliant, you know, because wherever we see articles or this or that or the other, they'll always be putting the color in. They're always and it's so redundant. If it's a person, it's a person.
Yeah.
And I know it's easy to highlight somebody, you know, it's a very striking difference. If a black guy and a white guy walk into a room and you say, tell me one difference between the two, the obvious one is obviously the color of their skin. But when you're talking about well-known people who we know these, you don't have to. It's like if somebody's gay actor so-and-so, why does it matter? Why can't it just be actor so-and-so? Black actor Morgan Freeman. Why does it have to be black actor Morgan Freeman? Why can't it just be Morgan Freeman?
Or just how about ultimate badass and the voice of God, Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, Morgan Freeman. Yeah, exactly. But he's such a wise man. He's a great actor. I think the first time I ever came across, ladies, Morgan Freeman was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh, right. That's right.
Which was fascinating for me, because I think I was at school at the time and we're dealing with crusades in history. So we're dealing with the Moors and all that kind of all that kind of stuff. So to suddenly have, you know, the opening and it starts in the Crusades.
Yeah.
So to have that, I paid particular interest to Morgan Freeman's character and the way that this you know, it would be Christian Robin Hood doesn't kind of care about his heritage or well, you know, doesn't care that he's a Moor, I should say. He doesn't like use that as a discriminatory but he you know, judges him based off the content of his character, like we should. But Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, what, 1991?
Yeah, something like that. You know, well, it's interesting. The first time I saw Morgan Freeman he was in an incredible movie with Christopher Reeve, which I bring up because I want to talk about him later. But he was in a movie called Street Smart. And I think, I don't know if that was I think he plays like, well, I don't know if he's a pimp or like a drug dealer, but he plays a guy that becomes the subject of one of Christopher Reeve plays a reporter. And a searing performance from Morgan Freeman. And that was back, I think, in '87. Oh, and wow, okay. You knew back then that, because he was like Gene Hackman. You know, he started acting sort of later in life. I think Gene Hackman like wasn't in his first movie until his mid-30s or something. Yeah. And you know, I really like that. And yeah, Morgan Freeman's so great. And it's funny because like I've always wanted to get a 2-pack of Andy Dufresne in red from Shawshank Redemption. People have made those figures before, but they're not very good. Unless the only way I would buy those figures is if the head sculpts are the best head sculpts ever, because that's all you really have. Here we are in prison garb, you know. But that's why I love my Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman. Yeah. So
iconic voice. One of the most iconic voices.
So good.
Cinema.
So good. So, do you want me to continue, or would you like to continue?
Go on, you do another.
All right. Well, since we're here, and since you can see her, anyone who watches this channel or who knows me for any length of time knows that I love action figures with chairs. And to continue my Black History Month, believe it or not, Hot Toys released a chair. That's it. Just a chair. And what chair would that be? As you might see behind me, that chair would be the throne of Wakanda. And now, that's all they released. Now, also, sitting in the throne of Wakanda is Shiri. the Hot Toys Shiri. She looks like a badass. She's sitting there because her brother is no longer with us. So let me just get closer. Here is, first of all, Shuri looking intense. Now, she comes with her repulsor rays and everything, but I just wanted, I sat her up with this. She also comes with this spear, but the Throne of Wakanda, you can buy by itself. Here, I'll take Shuri out of the Throne of Wakanda and show her to you separately. But this Hot Toys made this. It was $100, and I think worth it at twice the price. But it's really beautifully done. I mean, everything in it, the detailing, the paint work, everything in here is great. And I'm a huge fan of this. And it's heavy. It's got weight to it. And I just love that they made, like, would I have preferred this come with a figure? Yes. But the other figures I'll show later came with so many accessories that, I mean, this just came by itself. Like, I don't know how many people bought this, but I just want to tell you, when they put this up for pre-order, I was salivating because you know how much I love my action figure chairs. And this is like one of, perhaps, the fact that somebody just sold a 6-scale action figure chair of the Throne of Wakanda is something that, I mean, I can't tell you, as I looked at that and was like, I think I was, of all the people on Earth to get excited about a chair, that was me, man. It was me. Now I haven't taken out her repulsor accessories because I used to have her displayed with those on as she was fighting, but she couldn't, I didn't like her sitting in the chair with her repulsors. So here is the Hot Toys Shuri figure, which I love, actually, and the detailing on the costume is just, I think it's terrific. I really like that face sculpt. I love her expression. She's looking like she will kick your ass. And again, you know, I think it's great that, you know, Hot Toys, I always worry if they're not going to make, I really want an Okoye. It really bums me out that they haven't done Okoye, because she's part of the Dora Milaje, and I love that costume. But it's great to have the Shuri, and they did it on the smaller body, so she's to scale. And I love the detail work in the hair, and I'm glad it was plastic and not rooted hair, because I think it might get a little weird. But I really do. I really love this figure, you know, and I'm actually glad that with the Avengers line, you know, in Asia, sometimes it's a little difficult to get people of color as action figures. I guess not Asian characters, but around the world. So they've really gone to great lengths, especially the Black Panther line. Of course, the movie was successful, so that helps. They did make Killmonger, and at first they weren't going to release him with a Michael B. Jordan face sculpt, but they did, and I should have brought him down. It's too late now, but I have him, and then, of course, I'm going to show the T'Challa figure with the Chad Boseman head sculpt. But I really love that Hot Toys made all these figures, and they also made Black Panther's father as well. So that's a great line. The Black Panther line is really, really good. I would love to get, as I said, Okoye, but they haven't made Okoye yet, so damn them. So I want more, you know. Maybe,
because there's going to be another Black Panther come out.
Yeah,
that's probably the best chance to get it.
Well, it's funny because those costumes, I think the Dora Milaje costumes are so good. They're like stormtroopers, where in Star Wars you can never have one. So I want Okoye, and I want to get like two. Like Sideshow a long time ago made a 3-pack of Endor soldiers from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And they sold one individually, but then you could buy a 3-pack of them. I wish they would do like a 3-pack of the Dora Milaje where you'd get Okoye and 2 of her lieutenants or whatever, and change it up a bit, just because, you know, now that I have the Throne of Wakanda and the Black Panther figure comes with this cool light up feature, and Killmonger, I just love to make a great display, but you need like the Dora Milaje flanking the throne, and then you need Okoye standing in front, and that would be a badass display. And because that's, you know, that's how we think. We think in terms of how are we going to display these things.
Oh yeah. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? I think they got a lot of work to do with the character in the second film, I believe.
Yeah,
I really do. I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle.
Yep.
Because I did find her very off-putting in her movie. You know, when a character's got no flaws, when a character's great at everything, there's no where do you develop? And that's the problem that they've had with a lot of the characters. They're so desperate to do strong woman,
yeah,
that they completely miss, you know, some of the great characters that we've had from the past, which are flawed characters.
That's why I love Monica Rambeau in WandaVision. You know, clearly the fact that she came back from the snap, she's got some kind of conflict with Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. I mean, I would think it would really be cool, like in the comics, if they made Monica Rambeau the new Captain Marvel, like she was originally in the 80s.
Proton.
Yeah, they're gonna make, but I would love it if somehow Carol Danvers is deposed as Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau becomes only because I grew up when I was reading comics in the 80s, like the Avengers. Monica Rambeau, her Captain Marvel was an Avenger, you know, and I love that black and white costume, and you know, I'm there for it. But we'll see where it goes. I mean, but yeah, they're desperate to have. Now, let me ask you this: Are you going to buy? Are you going to buy the Pepper Potts They call it the Rescue. Are you going to buy the Rescue hot toy of her?
That is really weird that you should say that, because I was thinking of it today. I don't. Again, the problem with the Rescue as a character is it had no development.
Right. There was. I mean, it's for those of you who don't know, Pepper Potts, when she shows up at the end of Endgame during the portal scene, is wearing armor, blue armor, and she is officially called. Well, they call her the Rescue or the Rescue or Rescue. And Hot Toys is making a figure of her, and it will be a die-cast figure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's weird because remember what I've said in the past, and I do hold myself to this. The character doesn't have to necessarily work on screen for me to want it. You know, Wonder Woman 1984 was a disaster of a movie. But I still want to have the Kingdom Come Wonder Woman. Yeah. Because the armor is great, and it is that throwback to Alex Ross's incredible Kingdom Come work. So I do want that. Rescue didn't have any character development whatsoever. And just immediately was able to do everything with the suit. So it kind of said to me, well, it's the suit doing everything and not the person inside, which kind of negates a lot of, the theory behind Iron Man and the sacrifice and yada, yada, yada. But that's me overthinking stuff probably. But I said to myself today, I'm picking up as many sort of like Endgame, Infinity War stuff, because I think both of those films are great. I know some people are problem with Endgame, and there's some issues that I have with Endgame, but I think as an actual concept, an idea to do something completely different and not fall into the trap of just doing Infinity War 2.0 was wonderful. So yeah, I think I think I'm actually going to pull the trigger on that one, because I think if I didn't, I bet you it'll come, it'll go, and I'll regret it. Right. I'll say to myself, why? Why not have Mark 85 with Rescue in the display cabinet?
Well, yeah, it'll be plus a badass display if they're both, their repulsor beams are out, they're back to back fighting like they were.
Back on the stands, or just slightly angulated on the stands at kind of like 90 degree. Yeah. And then you can have both in a kind of repulsor pose. You can get a lovely pose out of it, because the battle damaged 85's coming out. You can then also have the finger snap. Yep. So you can get a couple of nice little moments in that, and I do think I would most likely regret it if I didn't. Yeah, so I think you would too. think I might do it right now. I did have a present when I logged on today, which I was very happy to see, because the first thing I saw when I logged on was an email from Jazz Inc. saying,
really,
yeah, saying invoice time. Thank
I love that you think of that as a present.
Well, it is, because I am now down to 5 remaining payments on both items combined. So that's 3 payments for the computer and 2 payments left for the Justice Mobile. So you know, every payment, although it's a bummer, you know, you gotta make a payment. Every payment is taking me closer and closer to done and dusted, and then I just have to worry about. I guess I just got to worry about shipping after that, which is going to be fun enough as it is.
Yeah, yeah. See, didn't they? I want to say that they took my shipping in advance. Like, I thought they took shipping in advance when I first ordered. Like, I've got, you know, they said the Millennium Falcon cockpit, that I'm in no rush, but that's done. I mean, I paid that off months and months and months ago, and it's supposed to come out, you know, middle of the year, maybe.
I mean, I would go on, because the Justice Mobiles are done, so I would go on, once it's paid off, I would go on the sort of like the rotation of when they ship. Right. But the computer, who, you know, I just got to sit back and be patient for that stuff to be done.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other things, like the 66 Batmobile got pushed to, they say September, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't show up till December. But they keep making videos. What I love about Jazz Inc. is they keep getting more reference material to make whatever they're making more accurate. And so the Snowspeeder too, the Empire Strikes Back Snowspeeder, which.
Oh yeah, I saw. Do you see the video today on the Batmobile, 66 Batmobile?
Oh, did they release another one today?
Yeah, well, I released a little video on little changes that they're making to it, and you know, how they've affected some of the trim due to imagery, and you know, with further imagery being sent to them, they can adjust this, they can adjust that.
Well, that's the thing. They've got fanatical people even that work in the entertainment business sending them proper blueprints to these things, and then they just go make the changes. So it's amazing. Like they were. I gotta watch that video. Do you have it? Can you call it up and put it in the chat?
I will call up and drop it into the chat for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, I'm doing all kind of weird faces because.
What
Sideshow have just applied a ton of built-up reward points.
Oh,
and so I have the rescue, which is up for I think $400 and something, $409.
Yep,
I'm picking up for 205.
Yeah, there you go.
So
there you go.
YouTube reward points, folks. Something which is $409 I'm picking up at half price because of the stuff that I've been able to get. Right, I'm gonna drop it into your Twitter. Oh no, can I drop it? No, I'll drop it into your Twitter DMs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Boom, done. So that's the 66 Batmobile one. Oh, so there you go. Brilliant. I might as well. So that's about 100. So I literally just picked rescue up for 175 quid.
That is amazing.
That's including delivery. That's including delivery. Holy shit.
That's the way to be.
Yeah.
That's the way to be. Those sideshow reward points. You know, there were figures. Let's see, figures I got for free. I got the Vision, the Hot Toys, the Vision. I got that for free with a reward points.
Oh, nice.
And I got Nebula for free. So that's
the one that's. I bet you I don't pull the trigger on it. I just can't. Not without the gold. Not without the gold faceplate. I'm so anal like that. You know, I want my good Nebula. I don't want my bad Nebula. I want my good Nebula. So I want the gold. I want the gold face paint because I want to put her with Gamora.
Yeah.
and Star-Lord and Rocket. But we need another Drax. We need another Groot.
Yeah, we do need another Drax. I hope they make another Drax. Who knows? Who knows? Did you order the heavy Mando?
Yes.
That's
preparing to ship.
Yeah, that's another figure that's been a long time coming.
Yes, I've had that on pre-order for a while. I got an email Friday, I think it was. That's why I'm really happy that I got the Mark 85 today, because I got an email on Friday saying that we're preparing to ship Mark 85 and Heavy Mando.
Wow.
And then on yesterday morning, I got an email through saying, here's the UK import fees for the Mark 85, but no Heavy Mando. So I paid them, and I said to you, there's a small chance it might arrive. One of the might arrive for the show today. And then this morning, I woke up. I had a text saying we're delivering today. So I was like, great. Heavy Mando is still in preparing to ship.
Yeah,
it's not left whichever depot.
I have to tell you, they found a license to print money with the Mandalorian figures, the Hot Toys. And listening to Justin talk about how Hot Toys figures Star Wars figures are not big in China, so they don't sell very many. But the fact that I mean, I can't even imagine what those Mando figures have to be. Just they must be selling thousands and thousands of them.
I'm trying to remember whose video I watched yesterday. I think it was Clownfish TV.
Okay.
I was watching a Clownfish TV video about the state of Star Wars. Obviously, we've had the Gina Carano business. And then we had the Kathleen Kennedy PR disaster, because the day, a couple of days after sacking Gina Carano, she comes out and talks about we need strong women in film. Yeah, good one. So Kathleen Kennedy's literally gone into radio silence. No one's heard the tale from her since. And Clownfish were talking about how they've been in meetings with Disney because of they've been in the animation industry for a long time, and they've had sit-down meetings with people from Disney, and they were talking about the High Republic stuff, and nobody's interested in it. No, there's no traffic on Google about it. On a YouTube channel with 3.5 million subscribers, it's getting like 17,000 views. It's getting pathetically low views, based off that. Nobody's interested in the High Republic, and they have all this interest that they've had in the Mandalorian. And they're just like, the future of Star Wars is the High Republic. And it's just like, what is wrong with this company?
Yeah, well, what I found really interesting is anyone that remembers the mid-90s when Shadows of the Empire came out. When Shadows of the Empire came out, it was an N64 video game that was pretty good. And it was a publishing initiative with the novel. There was figures. There was action figures and toys. You could get a Prince Shizor action figure. Kyle Katarn, I think, was it Kyle Katarn? So you could get all these things. And it just didn't have a movie. It had everything else. But, nowadays with the publishing initiative, and they wanted just the High Republic to be novels and comics, well, that's fine. But we have The Mandalorian that you can watch, and it's available 24/7, 7 days a week. And if you want to watch that goodness, like if you're a modeler, and you want to build a Mandalorian era X-Wing fighter, there's photo references there. So then you buy another model kit of the X-Wing. I mean, they're making Bandai how many 1/72nd, 1/48 scale, and if you're an action figure collector, they're making Black Series action figures. Hot Toys is coming out with more Mando figures all the time, as we know how many more Shore Troopers or Death Troopers or whatever troopers you want to get. They're putting
the next one is a regular Stormtrooper back.
Yeah, they're going to do that, and I mean,
very quick.
Yeah, and it's just incredible to me how they don't understand. Like, the thing about The Mandalorian is, as far as the fan base is concerned, even like now that they're making a Bo-Katan Hot Toys figure, and they're doing, I wanted to point out, allow me just to let the folks at home know. Let me show this picture. Hot Toys this week announced, I'm going to rifle through these as, they're releasing a 2-pack. It's the deluxe version of Boba Fett, and it comes with both the Boba Fett out of costume and the Boba Fett in costume as full figures. Now, I looked at this, and Tamora Morrison, this, let me just show you, ladies and gentlemen, take a gander at this head sculpt. This head sculpt, I mean, this looks like a still from a movie. This head sculpt is absolutely astonishing, and it's just amazing. Here he is in his garb, and this, the reason, if you don't understand, like, people are always asking, Rob, what is the obsession with Hot Toys? But if you just look at the quality, the head sculpt, the accessories, the screen accurate nature of it, and if you want to mix and match, you can put the Tamora Morrison head sculpt on the Boba Fett figure, or not. You can have him as the full Boba Fett as he appears in full armor from The Mandalorian. Here is Tamora Morrison in his full-on when he first appears in Mando, and then of course the 2-pack. Now this 2-pack is, it sells, it's close to $500 for both of these, but I would say that, my God, what did you think when you saw this Boba Fett?
That Tamora Morrison head sculpt is without doubt the greatest head sculpt I've ever seen on a hot toy.
Ever.
I don't think there's anything that comes close to how accurate, how brilliant that head sculpt is. I remember when you sent me the image of when Hot Toys teased that the Dad Bob Boba Fett was coming. Literally, this is a picture of Boba Fett's belly. Got sent to us by you, and I had no idea they're going to do a 2-pack.
Right.
Shakur of this whatsoever. But the very second I saw that head sculpt, literally my head exploded. It's insanity how they've got that so close.
Oh yeah.
And I think it really helps because he's bald.
Yep.
So you can get such an accurate cranial idea, and so you don't have to worry about the hair, and you don't have to worry about the style of the hair and whatnot. Because we've got Commander Cody head sculpts, we've got younger Tamora Morrison head sculpts, and
they're
Rex,
good
like that, and they're fine. They're good. But this, I mean, this is something else. This is absolutely something else, and I saw that, and it was just like my heart. Fuck my wallet, my heart.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, and you're like, I think that's what's so fun about these figures is it really does feel like they're not toys. They're almost like, I call it living representations of these characters. When you put them on the shelf, you're not looking at a toy. You're actually looking into that universe. Well, you're looking into.
There is another little feature on this, which I don't know if you're aware, but one of the accessories that come with the Boba Fett and Tamora Morrison is a caved-in Stormtrooper's helmet.
Yes. Where
you see, if you watch The Mandalorian, where he smashes him with the Sandman, stick, whatever it's called, and it smashes his helmet in. That actually comes as an accessory. However, not only is it an accessory, but it can be worn on a Stormtrooper body.
No.
Yes. So it can actually be put onto a Stormtrooper body, and you could have a scene of him literally getting his head plowed in with the stick, or just use it as a dead body on the ground after he's had his helmet caved in. But I think that is a great little accessory to get as well. That you can just tweak your Stormtroopers a little bit.
Well, here, let me throw this up for the folks at home. Here is what Az is talking about. This is the Stormtrooper head that comes, the bashed-in Stormtrooper head that comes with the Boba Fett's. That is in the deluxe version. And again, here is a close look at the head sculpt, the Tamora Morrison head sculpt from Mandalorian, the Boba Fett. And my God, this looks like a still from the actual show. It's so damn good. So yeah, man, I mean, I didn't realize you could put that. See, now you got to get, they just do that kind of stuff. So people, you know, Justin's going to be like 3 or 4 of those just to get the helmet so he could do a whole display of dead stormtroopers that Boba Fett has worked his way through.
Do you know what that does? That just fills my heart with joy. That's all that does. You know, I think that, and I just think, God, God, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Because you were talking about Star Wars and why do we do this? Why do we do this? When I was a kid, correct me if it's any different for you, but when I was looking at Star Wars figures on the shelves when I was a kid, I went by the rule of cool. What Star Wars figure looked cool? You know, that's why people gravitated towards a character like Boba Fett, because Boba Fett looked cool. You know, we had all the space aliens with their weird faces, but Boba Fett armored. So everyone loves people in armor. Cool armor, different armor. That's why we gravitated towards Boba Fett. So we always gravitated towards cool things. The AT-AT was cool. The Millennium Falcon was cool. The X-Wings are cool.
Stormtroopers were, I mean, you know, even Han Solo with his vest and that cool shirt.
Yeah, but it's High Republic, and the High Republic is, you need to see yourself represented in our figure, it's no, you don't. That's not why people gravitate towards something. They gravitate towards something really cool, and it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman or a robot like IG-11 or a bounty hunter like Boba Fett that you don't even know is human. Are they an android? You know, are they? You don't even know. It's so ambiguous. You don't care. You gravitate to what looks really cool, fits in that universe, and you think, I can have a lot of fun playing with this. I don't need to see some fat bastard in Star Wars and go, hey, do you know what? There's a fat bastard. I'm a fat bastard. Look, I crossed the time in Star Wars.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't understand that thinking. The whole reason that people watch shows that science fiction fantasy or high fantasy shows is because we dream of being like those people. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to see I don't want to see myself. Like, I thought Luke Skywalker was cool. Luke Skywalker was somebody that, one day maybe I could, his character arc is something I could aspire to be better than I am. I'm not just going to be a moisture farmer on Tatooine. There's more for me. But by the time Luke Skywalker rolls in to when that elevator door opens in Jedi and he's with Darth Vader, and they're where the AT-AT is in Jedi, and you see him just in black with the flap turned down.
Flap turned down,
flap. Luke Skywalker is a motherfucking badass right in that scene, and you're like, I've watched him go from being a guy in this kind of frilly white desert outfit to wearing a tightly tailored black Jedi outfit, standing with Darth Vader. And was Luke Skywalker ever cooler than in that black outfit?
Yeah, but he wasn't standing with Darth Vader. He was standing with his father.
Right, you're right.
And that's the beauty. That's why that scene is so great.
And when it's true. And you're absolutely right. The door opens, and the two of them are standing there, both clad in black. You're absolutely right. And you know, I remember the first time I saw Return of the Jedi, because you kind of watch the evolution of him. At first, he goes to Dagobah, and then when he gets to Endor, he's wearing the Endor poncho and all of that. And you're not expecting it when that door opens and he keeps taking layers of clothes off. He's got the Jedi robes when he first shows up in Jabba's palace. He's got the hood on, and he's like sloughing off his clothing. And so when that reveal happens and you see him down to that black with the little turned down gray collar, he's the ultimate badass. and even Luke was cool. I mean, that's, and I agree with you. Even the character designs in the High Republic, I'm like, they look like cosplaying Jedi.
Yes.
They, as much as I want, look, I was all for the High Republic, but I mean, the fact is, I don't want to watch people or characters that might as well be at a comic convention that I can see all the time. You know, you want to see, and even the funny thing, and I think this was sort of a failing of the prequel trilogy, which was there wasn't even any good hero starships. While I appreciated the retro design, the Flash Gordon design of like a Padme ship, the sleek transport that kind of looked like an SR-71. That's all. They were cool. But they didn't really, and the Naboo fighters, you never believed, because young Anakin flying in a Naboo fighter was not cool.
No.
It's cool because he's a 9-year-old. It just seemed kind of silly, even though I kind of liked those Naboo fighters. But those Naboo fighters, there was no good hero starships in the prequel trilogy. You know, I like the Jedi fighters and Sith. I kind of like.
I think the very final cruisers. The
Yeah,
very final version of the cruisers, which we only kind of saw briefly at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
but they just, there was a quality missing. There was something. The Millennium Falcon wasn't just a cool design; it was grimy. It was lived in. You know, it felt as if it had been stuck together by these bolts. Everything was so crisp and clean and CGI, and it didn't feel believable, and it didn't feel as if I wanted, as that sort of excitable person that loves Star Wars, that I wanted to. I didn't want to get into a Naboo fighter. Put me in an A-wing, put me in a Y-wing, put me in a B-wing. Hell yeah, put me in a B-wing all day long. An X-wing. Those were kind of cool. Well, the A-wing was a bit bland, but you know, the Y-wing, the B-wing, the X-wing, really interesting conceptual ships that you would think, yeah, I'd go on to one of those all day. The TIE fighter, fucking iconic.
I mean, when that first came, when you first saw a TIE fighter, it was so baroque in terms of its design. You know, you never like, how does that work? And it was, of course, the X-Wing fighters. And that's one of the things I also found disappointing in the Disney sequel trilogy. It takes place 30 years after, and we're looking at TIE fighters and X-Wings and the Millennium Falcon again.
Yes.
And yeah, okay, you had different classes of Star Destroyers, which is fine. And you had those bombers at the beginning of Last Jedi, but they weren't, you know, I'm like, I thought it was kind of a failure of imagination. Right.
What happened to the Y-Wings? They're the bombers.
I don't know. And it's so funny because you'd think that, I mean, one of the things that Marvel does every time there's a new Iron Man movie, Iron Man gets new armor. Some new armor, buddy. You know,
even Spider-Man.
And thank God they re-released the Homecoming Iron Man armor, because I always wanted to get that and I didn't. But yeah, I love that so much. And it's like, you'd think that they would come up with these things, and even like the Mandalorian, by bringing back the Slave One, which, you know, the only time we ever saw the Slave One, sure, in Attack of the Clones, there's that great moment where it's chasing after Obi-Wan in the asteroid field, which is badass. But when Boba Fett had it, you never got to see it in battle. And now they bring back, that's why I had to put my Slave One behind me. I'm like, I was like the Slave One, and to see it fucking kicking some ass, you're like, hell yeah. And that's something that you want. I mean, I would have thought it was fairly obvious from anybody who's making Star Wars that hero ships are very important, whether they're villain ships or, and you know, you'd think like, why? Yeah, I like the cruisers. I like the you see them at the end of Attack of the Clones when they're all taking off. Begun the Clone Wars. You know, that's cool. But seeing them in space in 3 dimensions, you know, on different planes, I loved all that. I thought that was cool. And I do like this little tiny Jedi starfighters, those kind of rickety smart fighters, you know, they're tiny, but they're not. Look, one well-placed laser beam in the cockpit, you're done. But you know, it's like what shielding. But I still thought it was cool the way they could move with one another. But again, still, I was disappointed. Like, remember when you're a kid and you see Empire Strikes Back for the first time, and you see the AT-ATs, and then I mean, it was like, maybe those are impractical as weapons of war, but it did not matter, because when you saw them, and then you saw the snow speeders, which the snow speeders in that environment, and seeing how they worked and how they flew, like the first time you see a snow speeder, you know, when you're actually, it's like a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
You know, you're watching, going over, and then you see it fly, and it flies around. Good morning, you know, and it comes around, and you see how they move. Those things were so badass. And I mean, you come out of Empire Strikes Back, you're like, I have to have a snow speeder. I have to have one for my fingers. I gotta have that thing in my hand, man. I gotta play with that.
Yeah, I need Slave One. Yeah, there were so many things that I remember. I think it was Christmas when I was 8 years old, and I was opening up presents, and I think my brother opened up the Millennium Falcon, and I was just like, oh my god, my brother's just like, look, we got the Millennium Falcon. Because he'd say we got, because we used to play Star Wars together.
Right.
He used to be the Empire, I used to be the Rebels. He loved being an Empire because he was older than me, and he bullied me. Well, not want to say bully me, you know, his older brother.
Yeah.
He dominates you as an older brother.
That's why you got him the Remnant Stormtrooper.
He was the Empire. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I had like a little package, and I opened them up, and there's like a little group of figures in there. There was like a Bespin lair in there and stuff. And then I had a box, and I had no idea what was in this box. I tear the Christmas wrapping away. Slave One. And I'm just losing my shit. Getting Slave One for Boba Fett, and I'm just like,
that was a great toy too. The Slave One Boba Fett was great. It had the rotating cockpit, and it had the little trigger. You could hold it from, and so you could keep the wings in one place, and the way the ramp came down.
And it had the Han with
carbonite. Yeah, that was an awesome toy. And you know what? One of the coolest things, this is what maybe the people making the High Republic will never understand. How cool was it in the Mandalorian, to see the inside of the Slave One where the wings rotate? You know, I mean, and seeing how that mechanism worked. And I remember thinking, I'm like, I didn't realize that for 40 fucking years I wanted to see how that works, how that mechanism works. And when they show you on the inside of the ship, I was just like, oh my god. I didn't know how much I'd wanted to see that, because, you know, you understand that the wings rotate depending on, it has to take off, and then it turns and moves this way. And the fact that they did that, you know, the people, it's like, whether it's Doug Chang or any of the designers that are working on, they all know. You know, these guys all know. And what's really interesting is they don't have to, I mean, God love George Lucas, he gave us all these things. But Jon Favreau being in charge, along with Dave Filoni, they would never have given us battle droids. Roger, roger. Nobody would have ever put that in the Star Wars universe. That's why everything that we've seen, the designs of like the troop transports or the different ships, even the Razor Crest, all of these things look like they belong in the Star Wars universe, and it's a joy to have them. And I looked at the Razor Crest, and I'm like, I want that, you know. And it kind of had a little bit of a rebel, the rebel troop transports that they had in Attack of the Clones. It was redolent of that design, kind of.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Yeah,
you know, and so it all looked like it belonged in the Star Wars universe. And you know, you look at the High Republic and all the artwork I've seen, I'm like, it looks like the Saturday morning cartoon version of the Star Wars universe.
I just think it looks sanitized.
Yeah.
Everyone is just in identical colored robes, looking the same. It doesn't fit. You know, you can stick black face, you can stick yellow face, white face, purple face, green face, magenta face, but you stick it on the same stuff.
Right.
You stick it on the same stuff, and it just looks so bland. And the color scheme, the colorist, whoever's doing the colors, just putting the same bland color in. They've got the faces are so bland and expressionless and personalityless. And then you look at I mean, I've got some just over there. But you look at the covers from back in the day, and they were meant to be like, boom, we need to catch your attention, grab your eye, you know, make you go, "Go! I need to buy this comic. I need to see what happens after see." And you've just got like a bunch of blind people going, "I'm holding up a light finder."
Yeah, I mean, there's no striking action poses, and you think, I mean, even Star Wars Rebels had the Ghost, you know, the ship in Rebels looked that it's kind of like, it kind of looks in a way like the Narcissus from the shuttle in Alien, but it looks like it belongs in the Star Wars universe. It made a quick cameo in Rise of Skywalker, but I'm like, it's strange to me that this is something that isn't understood. You know, that even the people that are making part of the appeal, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are baffled. Like when you look at the toys that Hot Toys is making from The Mandalorian and how people get excited about these things, because rightly or wrongly, all of Star Wars comes out of Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi. It all has to come out of that. That was what set the tone, even more so than, I mean, I appreciated in the prequel trilogy that George Lucas was still overseeing it, but even George Lucas, like when I looked at the design of the battle droids, you know, the soldiers, I'm like, these rickety things, they're not going to stand up. I mean, I did like the battle droids that would show up with those shields around them that would run in like spiders. Those were cool. But even the character designs are like, these are not formidable. I'm not scared of these people. I don't believe, like the Gungan army, I'm like, okay, they maybe, but not really. You know, no one had an edge. No one had. I didn't believe they're gonna. The Imperial officers, as bad as they might be bad shots, but you look at their costumes. Like look at Director Krennic in Rogue One in his white. Yeah. I mean, it was still an Imperial outfit. It was white. We really hadn't seen white unless, you know, what's his face. Thrawn has a white outfit, but Krennic, where do you think they got the idea of the white outfit from? From frickin' Thrawn, you know, and Thrawn, when they designed that for the Timothy Zahn books, they made it Imperial, but they just made it white. So it was this. It was,
wasn't there? There was a guy at the table
yes,
in the white.
Yes, there was. There was a guy at the table with white. So it goes all the way back to A New Hope. And they're looking into this kind of stuff, and that's where all the design, all the cool design work comes from.
And if you noticed, if you go back and you watch the old Star Wars, the original trilogy, the stormtroopers, yeah, they missed a lot, but they were threatening and they had them pinned down a lot.
Yes,
simply by sheer volume of numbers. But now, it's the cannon fodder, and we just smash through them, and they're nothing. And the whole reason why stormtroopers were cool was because not only did their armor look great, but in numbers, they're going to cause you massive trouble.
Well, look at the opening of Star Wars when they pour into the Rebel blockade runner. They just kill a bunch of rebels.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are falling down right and left. And the stormtroopers, as they're coming in, and remember, you know, people forget this, but when I first saw Star Wars, you know, I was 10. It was opening weekend of the movie. The sound of stormtrooper blasters was a sound I'd never heard before. Kind of that spitting, choo, 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 and it was like, what is that? And it just sound threatening. These guys in these white, they should have been like good guys, but they were not, because their head, even though they're in white armor, those helmets betrayed them. Those are evil motherfuckers, and they are coming to get you with those badass blasters. And it was awesome. And you got to remember that. That's what you know, drove Star Wars. Even Princess Leia, with her long, thin, she had that long, thin gun she takes out the stormtrooper with. Even that gun was cool. I mean, you're looking at this girl, obviously this beautiful woman, but she just draws down on the stormtrooper and blows one away. I mean, that's the first time you see Princess Leia. She's loading up an R2 unit, and then she guns down a stormtrooper, and then
what happens, though?
And then she faces down Vader. You know,
but she gets stunned.
Oh, yes, she gets stunned. Yes, but
she didn't just go blast 8 of them and, you know, come R2, let's all jump into this skateboarding. Oh no,
right. But
she
then
had limitations.
Then she's like, then she gets brought before Lord Vader, and even though she's tiny, she gives him shit.
Yeah,
she's like, Lord Vader, you know, and it's so great. And these were strong characters. Like, and Princess Leia is the first human character that we really meet in Star Wars, and her interaction with Vader sets the tone for the whole movie. I mean, she's a badass, and even as a young boy, I'm like, that chick's awesome because she kicks ass.
But that was it. She didn't have to show she was awesome because she could kill more stormtroopers than the boys or anything like that. She showed she was awesome because she was take charge.
Yep.
This was somebody that understood and knew command and knew how to designate orders and knew how to deal with power. And so, yeah, she's this tiny, diminutive woman. She's been put in front of this 6'9" Darth Vader, and she's just, like I said, she's just giving him shit. You know, and yeah, sure, it'd be bravado. Some of it would be bravado.
Sure.
But she doesn't let you know that. You know, I'm a diplomat. I'm on a diplomatic mission. You know, I'm going through the channels of power. I'm talking to power with power.
Yeah.
So she's not looking, you know, she's not letting Darth Vader look down on her because she's small. She's showing that she can equally use the you know, use the law of the land, whatever you want to call it, to her advantage. Even though Vader's like, no, you're a rebel spy and a da-da-da. No, I am a diplomat from Alderaan. She's great. She was great. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, even when Luke and Han try and save her, sure, they get her out the cell, but then they just get pinned down and they're going nowhere. It's up to her to say, you know, right, go through here. Let's blast a hole through here. Let's get down in here. Da-da-da. So she takes charge of those because they're just like a couple of not clowns, but they haven't clicked as a team.
Right.
You know, Luke is sort of like, he doesn't like Han, and Han doesn't particularly like Luke at this stage either. So there's no chemistry. There's like they were, you know, how they get coordinated that comes with time, experience, friendship, bonding, etc. All that is built on in the trilogy. They need to go, but they need to go. But well, I tell you what, it doesn't matter if they go back and they look and they learn, because they're not looking to learn from this.
No,
this is about removing that. This is about it's our time. It's our time now, and you have unfortunately exposed yourself by doing that, because you've kind of displayed that you really don't know what made Star Wars tick, what made people get invested in the franchise, why it was catered more towards a boy audience than a female audience, and it was, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just because now we have a larger, I would say there is definitely a larger female interest in these things. Great. Yeah. That's great. But it was developed, and it did come out of, this is kind of like a story for boys to kind of watch and look at and grow up. And that's the whole reason why Disney bought it. Disney bought Star Wars because they were a princess company.
Yes,
they had
that's true. That's absolutely true, by the way.
They had no IPs which pointed to boys, and they wanted to bring a male audience to Disney. So they said, right, we will buy Star Wars, and this is, you know, this is one of the greatest boy IPs out there. So we can now capture the male audience. We've got the girly stuff for the girls as well. There is a little bit. There's always going to be cross pollination. There always will be cross pollination. But they then went, right, now we've got Star Wars. It's female, and it's just like, oh my god, you've just done the complete opposite of the reason why you purchased the franchise.
Well, and then what's really interesting is, I think what The Mandalorian did was introducing, I mean, obviously, Cara Dune was a new character to The Mandalorian, then bringing in Bo-Katan and her troop of soldiers. I mean, that's a character that is for everybody, you know, guys, girls, everyone. And what a great character, Katie, perfectly cast in Katie Sackhoff. Yeah. And you know, Gina Carano, she also looked the part. And seeing them, that last episode when they're all fighting together, that was badass. Like, that was cool. You know,
the only criticism I would have is I don't understand why you took the male Death Guard away from them.
Right. You
know, that I don't understand. You know, he was there originally, and then it just became Bo-Katan and Mercedes. You know, so but where did he go? I don't see why there wasn't a place for him on the bridge with the rest of the fighters. But you're absolute. But Katie Sackhoff has earned her place at the table.
Yes,
she's earned her credibility. When she came on as Starbuck, she could have fucking crumbled. She didn't. She absolutely dominated that role. And when I think of Starbuck now, I think Katie Sackhoff. I don't think Dirk Benedict.
No, me too.
That's just the way it is. But that's because of how good Katie Sackhoff was. She played Bo-Katan in the Clone Wars, and then going into Rebels. So she already has familiarity with the character going into playing her in live action. And so you have a literal geek icon who should have been Captain Marvel. All day, every day should have been Captain Marvel. You have this geek icon, and so from a geek perspective, we can look at this and go, yeah, no, we get this because we get Katie Sackhoff, we get this character, we get how you know, they've earned their position here. You know, again, what's she called? Mercedes Watson, the wrestler. You know, she's got work to do. You know, she's got work to do. But Gina Carano, that's an MMA fighter. An MMA fighter. You know, this woman has been punched in the face and punched people in the face. She knows what it's about. She does a lot of her own work when it comes to the stunt work with the actual fighting elements. Again, a believable badass. And so we haven't got any problem when there's a believability element to it. But you can't put like a Rey and just put them up there and then just keep them up there and have no growth, no development, because I can't empathize with somebody who doesn't have any flaws. I can't empathize with anyone who hasn't had a failing, hasn't had a defeat. Luke had a terrible defeat in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, yes.
You know, crushing defeat, not just physically against Darth Vader, but mentally.
And that's how the movie ended. He was defeated at the climax of that movie. Which
an Infinity War ending.
No, absolutely. By the way, I want to throw in a super chat just because I love this super chat and you're going to love it. Star Trekker 58 says, and I just want, before I read this, as you and I both know what the answer to this is going to be, but I don't think Star Trekker 58 is going to like our answer.
Oh,
okay. Maybe Star Trekker 58 will. Star Trekker 58.
Oh, wait, sorry, can I guess what the answer is already?
Sure.
Is the answer yes?
That is correct. All of them. The answer is yes. So Star Trekker 58 says, "Hey guys, I want the rescue suit and War Machine, but I also want Gamora and Loki too. Which to choose? Which two to choose, or should I just get all of them?"
Yeah.
What do you think the answer is going to be, Star Trekker 58? Think about where you're at right now. The answer is always yes. We're not like your parents. We're not disciplinarians here. We are enablers. Proud enablers. You, my friend, need to bust on all four. But I would say this. I am very curious. Now, we have not seen, I'm very surprised, we have not seen Hot Toys announce a new Vision release and a new Wanda, because I want Wanda in her. It's coming. It's got to be coming. Hasn't happened yet. But the Loki show looks like it's got much potential for Loki in different garb. All kinds of garb. He's wearing all kinds of different... What's that?
Look, it's a bait and switch. It's a female Loki.
I don't know. You know, there's different. It's different. The Time Variance Authority, different Lokis. But I would wait and see what we're gonna get with that.
Okay.
I would wait, or you know, get your Loki. There's other Loki. I still love my favorite Loki figure that I have is still my original Loki from Thor with the headpiece. But they're making that's an Endgame Loki figure too. Yeah. There, so and it's basically the same figure, but it looks better. So that might be the figure to get.
I need a Falcon. I need the Falcon and Winter Soldier to do something because I need a Falcon.
See, I have the first release of Falcon from what, Iron Man? Was it Iron? No, not Iron Man 2 from Civil War. And I have that. Oh, Winter Soldier. Yes, I have the Winter Soldier Falcon, but I want, because I grew up with the red and white Falcon. Yeah. I need that. They've made one. I bought that first Falcon. I love the military look of it because I love, and I've got the first die-cast War Machine, the roadie, and I like that both of those figures look militaristic, and they go well with the Winter Soldier stuff too. But I really want for my Avengers display, I want a Falcon, the red and white Falcon, and they made it. I haven't got that.
And now it's rocking horse shit.
Yeah, you know,
that's how hard it is to get hold of.
It's really, really hard to get that figure.
Yeah,
and I don't know why. Though the Falcon figures, the Anthony Mackie head sculpts, they've all been good. So maybe they'll do a new Falcon and Winter Soldier Falcon.
But I definitely want a Vision, and I definitely want a Wanda Maximoff.
Yeah, but I've got the Wanda Maximoff from Ultron. I want the Wanda Maximoff with that long coat.
Long coat, bustier.
Yeah, and also straight hair. I don't like the wavy. So we do we have more to show? We've got more to show.
Yeah. Right? Well, speaking about strong, powerful whammons, I purchased this from Big Finish. No, Big Chief. Big Finish is something else. I purchased this from Big Chief. This was actually an X display.
Oh,
and I thought I'd have a little look to see what they had on X display, and I was really surprised when I saw this that this was the last one. And when I saw it, my heart just went, "Oh my god, yes!" Because if people know how much of a Batman freak I am, to manage to pick this up.
Oh,
just is perfect.
Now that's from the Arkham game, right?
Yes, but it's the suit that she wore in the comics as well for a long time.
That's man. Wow, that's a score.
Oh yeah, now it comes with two different head sculpts. You get like a normal, a more placid face head sculpt, and then this more angry one. These goggles, this is elastic banded goggles, by the way, so they can come up.
Wow,
you know, they can come up, they can come off if you want. I just have them over the eyes because she's in business mode. I purposely wrapped the whip around as if she's got it all kind of like lined up to just like, and it all comes loose and then crack. The belt, the sort of like military belt.
Wow, that looks great.
Just great. The harness, the way the harness goes on, the boot design, sorry. Just looking boss as anything. The plunging neckline as was. This does come all the way down if you want to pop a titty bags out, but I don't think we're going to go there. And then on the back, I put the backpack on the character as well, which can come off too. And then she comes with like a diamond accessory. She comes with like a jade, not like a jade, but like an Egyptian cat statue accessory as well. You could have the you could just see there's a harness. Hey, nice, got a good balance as well. Well, it's Catwoman, so you can imagine it would. Yeah, on the belt here, you can see that there's a loop there. You can put there is actually a curled up version of the whip, which you can place onto there as well. And this is just going to go perfectly with one of my Batmen. Because I gotta get my Batman and I gotta get my Catwoman together because they go together.
Like shamalama lama kadiki ding di dong, chang 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 de chang chibop. That's the way it should be. A little Grease for you, everybody. Oh wait, I think Grease got canceled too. But yeah. Well, that is a gorgeous figure. You know, I got that Hot Toys is putting out that the Batman Beyond figure from the game, from the Arkham game. Yes. That is one, and I'm going to have him fighting my Deathstroke.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, because they look like, I mean, those are formidable figures. I wanted to show the last of my theme month figures.
Damn.
This is my, Here I will. I'll go full frame on this one. This is the Hot Toys Black Panther, Chad Boseman. I love this figure. I think this is amazing. Now I have him. I love the head sculpt on this. He's holding his ceremonial dagger, and the costume. I love how they did this costume. It's kind of like rubbery, but the it's really all, look at all that detail in the costume, and then the boots are amazing, and this also, you can take obviously the head off and put the helmet on. I just like seeing his I like seeing his face. Yeah. Oh no, this is the Black Panther costume. This is a Black Panther costume, and this figure actually comes with it. Dude, this is amazing. It comes with this black light, like this stand that goes here, that is black light. So when you shine the black light on this figure, it illuminates. It pulsates with the black light, and it's pretty neat. And I love this figure. I've always loved this figure, and I'm very happy to have this. And I'm gonna put Chad right over here next to Shuri, but and I also have Killmonger, the Killmonger figure as well, the Michael B. Jordan figure. And I wasn't gonna buy the Killmonger figure because it didn't come with the Michael B. Jordan head sculpt, and it's a really good head sculpt. But I actually he's still in the box. I'm looking over there at I've got above my bookcases. I have a whole ring of Hot Toys figures that are still in their boxes. Probably like 30 Hot Toys figures that are still in the. I'm looking at. There's 14 Star Wars figures I've never taken out of the box, which is nuts. But yeah, I gotta have the proper displays. That's why Elizabeth is always saying, "Free the toys, free the toys." So I'm always doing that. But yeah. So anyway, all good, all
great,
good.
Baby. And then I got one final. And this is the one I've left to last because this is the one that means the most to me.
Okay, I'm gonna go full frame on you. Show us.
How can you have something? You just showed off a Mark 85 die cast with lights, with nano gauntlet. You showed off the Catwoman from Arkham, rare, hard to get hold of.
Really hard to get a hold of.
How can you say that the last figure is the one that means the most to you? Well, I've been after this for a while. And the thing is, this just sells for insanity money because of how difficult it is to get hold of, because the limited run that they did on it. And it's not, to me, it was never not a matter of money per se, but it was a matter of I really loved who it was and what they were, but I needed to also, you know, I couldn't go stupid money just to get it. I had to, but something cropped up, and it cropped up at a really good price, and so I pulled the trigger. It arrived a couple of days ago. People, if you're in the chat and you know me, then you'll probably understand why this is just going to mean the world to me. But this is whoa. The stand though is a little bit fucky. I think I might have to do some repair work on that. But let's try and do it this way instead. This, ladies and gentlemen, is
bring him down a little bit so he can. There we go. Peter
Capaldi's 12th Doctor in his first outfit, and this is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful stuff.
Wow.
And this to me, I've been wanting to get hold of this for so long. And this is when Doctor Who was great. Capaldi had some awful scripts at times to work with, and he had some wonderful material to work with too. But he was really kind of like up against it. It was that time when the BBC were transitioning away from quality into identity politics. But Capaldi as an actor is just outstanding.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Absolutely outstanding. And he could turn, even the most mediocre of material into fun, delivered beautifully, brilliantly, interestingly, that always kept you invested. And if he had a true run, if he had a true run when the writers actually cared and there wasn't there wasn't a whole kind of agenda at the BBC, this could have been one of the greatest Doctors ever. But he's my favorite Doctor, personally my favorite Doctor. And this outfit is just the best. It's such a
I like his hands. I mean, I like that pose. It looks like he's about to cast a spell or take us to a different. It's great.
Oh, and he's kind of like he's ready to he's sort of like just kind of falling into a little bit of a trap, or there's something going on, and he's just kind of in that action and the Doctor's ready to get to work kind of business. But oh my God, you have no idea how happy I am to actually have this. The base actually does light up, believe it or not. And it has the little Gallifreyan symbol, but you can't see because the actual, well, I can see, but you won't be able to because the actual base itself is reflective.
Yeah, it's yeah.
So
but that's a beautiful figure.
Oh, yeah. I think I've got to get another arm, though. I think the arm might be a little bit bust, which they haven't told me about, but never mind. But it's workable. It's workable. I can still pose absolutely fine. But holy cow, the outfit, the shirt, the waistcoat, the lining of the jacket, the black trousers, the beautiful Doc Martens that he has on as well. It's just by effect.
That's amazing.
I'm so happy.
Now, I think for my little finale, I have two figures, but they're themed together, and they go toward what we were talking about. And the first one, one of my oldest Hot Toys figures. This is 15 years old, and so it doesn't have the head sculpt, and this was never released in America. But this is, in fact, Marlon Brando as Jor-El. Now, this is as he appeared in Superman, the movie, but we didn't get this figure until Superman Returns, and it Jor-El, and it's again, this figure was never released. Now, this is a 15-year-old head sculpt, but I still think it's pretty good for the time in which it was done. And I kind of have him with his hands behind his back, like he's about to deliver some wisdom. He didn't really come with anything or any thing, but I loved the costume, the way it looks. I mean, it's hard to see, but I love the way it reflects the light. It's got that kind of crushed, you can see all the detail in the cloth, so it looks very similar, because in Superman Returns they use footage from the original Superman the movie, and so it was a basis. So I love this figure, but the reason I wanted to show him was because, of course, Superman and Lois being debuted, I never get tired of showing this figure. Again, this is an older Hot Toys figure, but it remains one of my favorite of all time, and that is the Christopher Reeve Superman. And here he is. And again, there it is. There's my Christopher Reeve. And again, even this Hot Toy it's old, this in terms of Hot Toys. But I really just love this figure. They also made an evil Superman from Superman 3 in the darker costume. And it has this cool Kryptonian base, the Fortress of Solitude base. But I love this figure. I love the costume. It looks great from the bottom. It's got the flying, he's on the flying thing. And there he is. I mean, again, I think it's a pretty good facial sculpt. But of course, they've become Hot Toys facial sculpts in the last 5 years have become so much better. But I love the tailoring of this costume. I think it looks great. It looks bang on, and I just think it's an incredible figure, and I thought I would show this again. I don't think I showed this actual figure on the show before, but because of the debut of Superman and Lois, I wanted to show this figure. And you know, Hot Toys has done some great Superman figures. I mean, they did this one. Their Superman Returns figures were not so great. But those are 15 years ago. But the Henry Cavill figures are great, and fingers crossed, black suit Superman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. I did not. Did they paint? I wonder if they painted the existing costume. I don't know if they did that. So I mean, it
look the same, but they put the head sculpt, I think, from the Justice League with the red eyes as well, so it kind of looked more.
Yeah,
kind of mocking up that scene from the trailer where he's in a black suit and firing out his laser beams. That looked great. So I just like gimme.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, there's people been firing in some questions to us, and I know we want to I'll go back to the beginning of this. Let's see. Michael Ryan sends in a super chat and says, "Gentlemen, while perusing Sideshow, I got confused. Will you please explain to me," this is a good question, "the difference between a maquette and a statue? Also, okay. My wife hates you both for getting me hooked on collecting these figures. Laugh out loud."
Okay. Well, a maquette is best way to describe it. Kind of like a concept.
Yes.
It's like you've got an idea for something, and you're kind of throwing something together, but it's not fully realized. So it's not a fully realized product. It's more like a conceptual idea based off something. Whereas a statue obviously is a fully realized product of a specific thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, I would also say that, you know, a maquette is pretty much just, even if you had a maquette that looks pretty close to the final thing or even the final thing, it's basically just standing there. You know, it's not, whereas a statue, especially some of the statues we have now from Prime 1, or I saw Gem Mint Collectibles review a third scale alien figure that was amazing. But statues are usually in incredibly dynamic poses. They're recreations of scenes, you know, like you were saying, and I think the statues that you can buy now are, I mean, they're next level. Some of the stuff is just insane. But so a maquette is a great, more of an academic representation of a figure or a character, whereas a statue is supposed to, it's a dynamic scene or a pose, and it's supposed to elicit emotion, whereas I don't think a maquette is. A good statue, it makes you feel something, where a maquette doesn't.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Dieter Bastian, hello Dieter, who I do Let's Get Physical Media with. Dieter says, "Rob, could I persuade you to make a little noise for Patrick Keller's YouTube channel and his Hot Toys reviews, even if it's in German? His YouTube channel is called Patrick's Wohlzimmer. It's Patrick, like the main name Patrick. Patrick's. It's WOHNZIMMER. Now, I've watched Patrick's YouTube channel. You should go check it out and subscribe. It's in German, but what Patrick does is he does great photography of the figures. So even if you don't understand what he's saying, he really shows you what the figures can look like and poses them and does fun things with them. And it is a really great YouTube channel. It's different than what Justin does. Justin's channel, which I think is fantastic, Justin's is very academic, and he really, but Patrick's has a little bit more toyetic playfulness in his channel. Yeah. It's definitely worth checking out. So that's Patrick's living room, I think, but it's so the YouTube channel is Patrick's WOHNZIMMER. So Dieter, we have done that. Robert sends in a super chat and says, "Can you verify if Ross Campbell is in the Snyder?"
Can you
okay. Robert asks if Ross Campbell is in the Snyder Cut. Now, you might be asking yourself right now, who or what is Ross Campbell? Ross Campbell, let me see if I can find it. Ross Campbell is the character that I played in Superman Returns.
Oh, okay.
I am in, believe it or not, Superman Returns, and you can see me for literally I'm not even on screen for a second, literally.
Wow.
But I do have dialogue. You can hear my voice, and I am the NASA reporter that is on the ground reporting on the space shuttle disaster. And you can you can see me. I'm barely in focus, and then I go out of focus for like I'm only on for frames, literally for frames. Unfortunately, that's all you get of me. But I will say this. Let me I can call up the picture and I will show you. I will show you Ross Campbell. Now, what's funny is I did not create that name, but when I was in Star Wars XXX, the X-rated Star Wars parody, I credited myself as Ross Campbell.
Excuse me?
Did you not know that?
No.
I am in Star Wars XXX, and I play Biggs Darklighter.
And you play
Biggs Darklighter, Luke's friend from Tatooine. I fight in the Death Star battle. I'm Biggs. I flew an X-wing. Now, unfortunately, or more fortunately, because I just don't have the cock for porn. Sorry to say. That's why I'm a cunning linguist. But the I got to wear a Rebel flight suit, and it's a full-on porn parody of Star Wars. And
right, okay. So basically, you Dave Filoni'd yourself, but you did it in the porn version as opposed to The Mandalorian.
Shh! I don't want anybody to know.
And by the way, Dave Filoni'd yourself in itself sounds like a porn parody.
Well, I'll tell you something. So, there's a lot of the Marvel porn parodies, and they're all made by a guy named Axel Braun. And a friend of mine was co-directing Star Wars XXX with him, and they built the full-on interiors of the Millennium Falcon. They built an X-wing cockpit, and they had the Rebel briefing scene. And I have lines, and he goes, "Would you come play Biggs?" And I go, "Do I get to wear a Rebel flight suit?" "Oh yeah." I wore a full-on Rebel flight suit, and and Red Leader was Kylie Ireland, who's a famous porn actress. So I got to go into battle over the Death Star. I mean, I'm literally in an X-wing fighting. So actually, there's a picture
I needed to know, but I do, and I'm grateful for it.
First of all, here I am as Ross Campbell in Superman Returns. You only see me for a brief, like you can't even. This is like the only frame grab. There's like only a single frame where I'm full on in the frame. So there's me as Ross Campbell reporting from Houston, the Space Center in Houston, on this disaster. So not only was I Ross Campbell, but I'm also a special effect. So that was pretty cool. And I was shot against a big green screen, but they do give me dialogue, and you hear me reporting on the disaster. So as they're watching, as Clark and Jimmy Olsen are watching in the bar,
I never seen.
Yeah, and then you hear me. So when I come on, you'll laugh. So there you go. That's who Ross Campbell is. I want to thank Robert for asking that question. Then we have
just thinking, what if the electricity just like gets me one day, and I'm scouring the internet, and I find the Star Wars porn parody, and I'm just like, yeah, I fancy a bit of Princess Leia, and then fucking RMB comes on my screen.
Oh, I don't know if you'd recognize me though. See. Now let me
Okay.
see, let me see if I can find. I'm gonna see if I can find the picture of me because it's definitely worth seeing. Here, I will find this picture. I will find this picture. And this is kind of the funny thing when you're in Hollywood and you have friends that are working. Oh yeah, okay, I found it. You're gonna love this. So people work in all different. I mean, Francis Coppola worked in porn before he was directing The Godfather.
Really?
I never. Yeah.
Stallone was in a gay porno, wasn't he?
Yes, like the Italian. I think the Italian. The Italian sounds like gay, but something like that. Yeah, I mean, people do that kind of acting. I mean, now you're going to laugh if I show this to you. But this is me. This is me, Robert Meyer Burnett, or as is known in the credits, Ross Campbell, playing rebel pilot Biggs Darklighter. Here you go. There I am. There I am. I'm playing Biggs. I got the 70s porn stash. I dyed my hair black. And there I am as Biggs Darklighter. And that's how I appeared in full rebel flight fatigues in the movie. So there you all go. Enjoy yourselves for that.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
So yep.
It looks like Billy D. Williams whiteface.
Actually, there is a let's
Tropic Thunder.
So there you go, man. There I am. As a matter of fact, I'll show you. It's not a very good picture of me, but I was in a tense moment, getting into character in the cockpit. Now you have to understand this cockpit of the X-wing it's mostly computer generated, but I am in I am in the cockpit, and I will show you that. Let's see. Because man, I don't know what to say, but here you go. Here's me. Here's Ross Campbell in the cockpit with the sunlight shining on him as he is going into battle. As he's going into battle over the Death Star. So I don't know what to say about this other than the fact that it was a lot of fun. And when somebody asks you to come down and look, I wasn't in any sex scenes, obviously, or anything like that. I got to go live out a fantasy of flying in an X-wing and blowing up the Death Star, and I die. I get to die. I die over the battle, And so I'm like, I'm in. But I think there's like Chewbacca has a 3-way with 2 stormtroopers, female. All the stormtroopers are female.
What?
Yeah, so there you go.
Chewie.
I know. Now people are going to look down on me. But, when I went down there, I was just shooting. I was acting. I have lines. I have lots of lines.
Louis Theroux appeared in a gay porno when he was doing recording one of his shows. He's one of his shows, Weird Weekends, they used to call them, where he went to have a look at the porn industry. And he goes back after the sort of like the rise of the internet, and it's amazing how different it became. And yeah, they just like put him in as a local ranger or something. So before any of the dudes get down to business, he just like knocks on the door of their lodge or whatever. It's just like, everything okay with you guys? Everything going on? Yeah, okay. And then that's it. Then he goes, and then they do their man thing.
Yeah, well, as far as I'm concerned, it's not really me. It's Ross Campbell who was in Star Wars XXX. So I have plausible deniability. So here's one.
Proud.
Norwegian Kryptonian sends in a super chat and says, "What's the best hot toy Iron Man?" Oh, I would say, wouldn't you say, that it's a preference? I mean, it really comes down to what your favorite armor is.
Yeah.
I have 3, I think. My favorite Iron Man figures are, first of all, the Age of Ultron armor. In terms of hot toy figures, I love the Age of Ultron armor. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Just
47, Mark 47.
Yeah, I think it's Mark 47. Gorgeous. It's the one that goes in the Hulkbuster.
Yeah.
You know, then I really love, I'm talking figures here. I really love the Homecoming Iron Man armor.
Yeah.
I love that armor, and I love the Endgame armor that you showed earlier in the show.
Oh yeah, the Mark 85. Yeah, I mean, or is that the 47? Is the Homecoming the 47, and the Age of Ultron one is actually the 17 or the 27?
See, I don't remember the numbers. I just remember the movie. You know, I go by the film. But you know, they've made Hot Toys has taken Iron Man figures to a high art, and you really can't go wrong with any of the armors, especially the die-cast armors. Another armor that I love is Iron Patriot. The Iron Patriot from, is that Iron Man 3? With the Don Cheadle Iron Patriot? Or is that
Iron Patriot appears in
Iron Man 2? That Iron Patriot, the first Iron Patriot die-cast figure is amazing. I love that. It's kind of like the Iron Man equivalent of Captain America in a way.
Yeah.
So I like that. Do you have favorites?
Well, I have 3 myself. I have now got 3 Iron Men. I have the Mark 85, which we just seen today, which is just rapidly looking better and better every time I look at it. I got the 47. That is the 47. I got the 47 from Spider-Man Homecoming, which I think is incredible. I just love the silver.
Yeah, it's great.
It's the silver version. And I have the Mark 3,
right, which is great.
Which is the kind of like from the original Iron Man.
Yeah, it's the first Iron Man.
The proper iteration that we know as the gold and the red. And I do love that. That was the one that I sought after first, simply because that was my like quote unquote favorite.
Right.
But that's the plastic one, and it's amazing that. But when you just get a die cast, it's like the world changes.
It really does.
It just completely changes. And
there's never been toys. The Hot Toys, you can't. It's hard to tell somebody who's not an action figure collector like how revolutionary those Hot Toys Iron Man die cast figures are. Yeah, you pay through the nose for them. You know, they're the Lamborghini of action figures. But they're absolutely worth it. Those figures, the engineering, the light up features, they're just you hold them in your hand. You're like, what? This is the most amazing. And incredible.
Look at this is the engineering, folks. Look at the side of his leg here. These panels are created to lift and raise so he can get his knee up. Yeah. And it comes out so seamlessly, and again, the same on the back of the legs. You got the way that the back of the legs come out and come together. This is, it's like you think you pay through the nose for a die cast, and because on paper very expensive, but when you get one and when you see the weight, when you feel the weight, when you see the sculpt. The way that it is meticulously put together to allow for articulation, suddenly you get to a point where you're just like, how do they even create it for this much? Right. But and the light up features that's like the candy. That's just like the absolute candy at the end. Like I said, and I put all the batteries in this one without any difficulty whatsoever, so I could just go bit. It's just such a shame they last for so little of time.
Yeah, if you forget to turn them off, it's like, oh, that's gone. Yep. No, they're really amazing. Those figures are amazing. So then we have Norwegian Kryptonian. You can't go wrong with any die cast. It just depends what your favorite armor is. Crazy Eyed Jedi says, cross your fingers. I'm crossing them. Maybe my Spider-Man 2099 will be on the truck today after weeks of being unable to deliver due to bad weather. Oh. Well, Crazy Eyed Jedi. By the way, I have that figure. I love that figure. It's great. You know, I can't wait to do the definitive Spider-Man display. KC McNatt says, I haven't really bought any Hot Toys. If anything, I may buy 1 or 2 a year. However, I just paid off my Rocket Raccoon, and it is now on the way. The Endgame Rocket Raccoon is a great figure. Really good.
I want it.
It's so good.
I want all those.
I want them all. I want them all. Praxium sends in a super chat and says, I received my first hot toy, Qui-Gon Jinn. I have Ahsoka on pre-order. That is a great figure, too. You know, I have to say, the prequel to celebrate in 2019, they started putting out the prequel trilogies for the prequel, well, the Phantom Menace figures they did. Well, they didn't do the Obi-Wan they did was not from Phantom Menace, but they did Obi-Wan, they did the Darth Maul and the Sith Speeder, they did Qui-Gon. They did those are great figures. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are great, but they just don't. The Obi-Wan they made was not from Phantom Menace, but great figures to have. So Praxium says, received my first hot toy, Qui-Gon. I have Ahsoka on pre-order and might buy Luke or Anakin today. I've created a monster. What do you mean you might buy it? Praxium, I think Az what do you have to say for somebody who says they might buy Luke?
Do it! Do it! Might. Might's for pussies. Do it for men.
You've created a monster, he says. Yes, you have. Mr. Tickle Trunk sends in a super chat. A super chat sticker, I think. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Thank you. Danny Boy is here. Danny Boy says, hello, you lovely mad old boys and your hot toys. Zack Snyder's Justice League may be getting some 6-scale figures. Check out this link. By the way, Rob, your tip link is not working. I had to go through Short Takes, a stream that's premiering. No, it should be working. I'm looking at it. I'm getting it through. I'm still getting it. I don't know why it wouldn't be working. I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Oh, no, I clicked the link in your description. It says something's wrong here.
Really?
So, yes, I clicked the link in your description, and it says something's wrong here. This is a 404 error.
Well, they just don't want me to get tips, these bastards. No. I'll have to look into that. Well, I'm still getting super chats, so that's good. But thank you for that.
Hey, I did buy Luke today.
Danny Boy, thanks for that. I'll have to go back and find out. Praxium says, I first saw Morgan Freeman as the Easy Reader on Electric Company. That is correct. You are correct, Praxium. I forgot about that. I was just thinking about Morgan Freeman in the movies. You are correct. Morgan Freeman was, in fact, the Easy Reader on the Electric Company. That was an educational show for kids in the States. Okay. Andrew Matthews sends in a super chat and says, it's the futon of fully articulated. I guess that would be the throne of Wakanda? The futon of fully articulated? Actually, you know, it's really funny with my John Travolta. I think I showed this last week, but with my John Travolta Pulp Fiction figure, I finally, it came with, as an accessory, it came with this tape deck, but it also came with this couch.
Oh, what?
It did. This might be the funniest action figure accessory that I own. And so here is a 6-scale couch. It's actually kind of ingenious. It has magnets in it. So it was all in pieces. And it's got magnets in it, and it holds together. And this is he never actually sits. This is a recreation of the couch that's in Marcellus Wallace's house when he's waiting to pick up Uma Thurman. But John Travolta never actually sits in this. So the action figure came with these pieces of furniture. Iconic Pulp Fiction, or here's your electronic reel-to-reel tape deck, and this couch. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I might put civilian Steve Rogers and civilian Tony Stark hanging out on this couch.
I am going to throw you an absolute curveball for that couch.
Oh, okay.
Dave Chappelle, fuck yo couch. Do you know the skit?
I do know that skit.
Can't show it.
No.
There's some words there which not gonna fly.
No. Know it well.
Can you if you got a Dave Chappelle, and then you know you could do a fuck your couch.
Now I've got to get it, Dave. Now I want one. So Andrew, I guess Andrew, it's not really a futon, but I guess it could be a futon because you can pull out the you can turn it into a day bed if you wanted to, because it folds out. So maybe it is the futon of fully articulated. Nerdy Girl Creates says, well, maybe Rogue will put Carol into a coma and Monica will take over. Ooh, that's a very deep cut. What you're referring to, it was later shown in animation, but it's Avengers Annual 10. Drawn by Michael Golden and written by Chris Claremont. It's the first appearance of Rogue, and Rogue shows up and takes Carol Danvers' powers away. That was her first appearance. Nice cut there, Nerdy Girl Creates.
I think it'd be great if they did, because if you took Brie Larson's powers away, then she'd revert to probably a nice person.
But you know what? That would be absolutely canonical to the Marvel Universe if Rogue, the first appearance of Rogue, that's how you introduce mutants into the Marvel Universe. Rogue just shows up, does battle with Captain Marvel, and steals her powers.
Yoink. Straight
up takes them. And then Monica becomes the new Captain Marvel, and Carol Danvers has to deal with being an ordinary person. Like, how does she...
People have got a problem, though, with Monica Rambeau becoming Captain Marvel, because
I know.
It's like you would be taking something which she should have had in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like ass backwards.
It is. It is. Star Trekker 58 says, thanks for the advice, guys. This will really help with my weight loss program as well. 4 figures it is then, and then bread and water diet for the next month. There you go. There you go. Dan Lazaro sends in a super chat and says, you knew when they were calling for the Snyder Cut that they were saying, allow Snyder to finish his film. You guys just can't eat the loss. Oh, I know what he's saying. So here's the thing. A couple of people have contacted me and said that the people that wanted the Snyder Cut released were people that said, we wanted the Snyder Cut in whatever condition it was. We just wanted to see it. I think this is a retcon of what people were asking for, because now it was first that there is a Snyder Cut. You can watch it. And Zack Snyder himself said in the Vanity Fair article that what he had was not finished. He flat out said it. And this whole thing about eating the loss, I think it's so interesting that people are going to want to, they're pointing at us going, see, especially people that work in the entertainment business. And my answer to that is no one ever wants to release an unfinished movie. Zack Snyder's not going to release an unfinished film. And this idea that anybody would ever release an unfinished film, first of all, you can't, because you have to have, like, if you were going to do that, you would have to have all the talent to sign off on it and say, sure, we'll allow you to release an unfinished movie. Most talent, especially their management, whether it's their agents or their managers or their lawyers, are not going to allow an unfinished movie to get released because it's unfinished. And that's something that contractually nobody could do. So no one would have been... Zack Snyder himself said it. There's no way that he would ever have released an unfinished version of the movie. He gave 3 reasons why in the Vanity Fair article this week. And this idea that people who are fighting for the Snyder Cut would have been happy with an unfinished version of the movie, that's not true. There's no way that anybody would want to see an unfinished version of the film, and no responsible filmmaker would do that, because people would be like, well, why didn't you just go finish it? And then the people, like Zach said, he goes, I would never release an unfinished version of the movie, because then people could point to it and go, see, it's not that good anyway.
Yeah,
so no,
it wouldn't make sense to. I believe there was always a cut.
Oh, there's always a cut of a movie, but
it was finished. It never, I never thought that it would be finished. I imagine there would be, to me, I mean, people might interpret this differently, but to me, when people say there's a Snyder cut, to me that meant there is a stock of film which hasn't been utilized, which is been created by Zack Snyder for his version of what the film was going to be. But I didn't think it was ever a completed version. I didn't think it was ever I thought it would just be, You know, it could be hours. It could be 6, 8, 10 hours of footage for all we know.
Right.
But I never thought it was in an edited state or a completed state. But I definitely believe that there was a vision for Zack Snyder. Absolutely contrary to the Joss Whedon one. There was footage.
Well, as he says, and the thing is, you have to know about how post-production on a film works.
Yeah.
Now,
he left during editing.
Yeah, he was editing. He was in editing for 4 months after Principal was over, which means you could watch that movie from beginning to end. It was just unfinished. And as we now know, and his cut that he took home was almost 4 hours. He only, when he did reshoots with Henry Cavill, with Ben Affleck. I don't think he did. I don't know if Henry Cavill was there, but with Ben Affleck and Mara, what's her face, and Jared Leto. He only shot 4 minutes of new footage. He already had the whole cut, and he added he added things for the nightmare sequence apparently, but the he had a cut that you can watch. You know how many effect shots they did for this Snyder cut? Over 2,600 effect shots. And the reason there was so many effect shots was because none of the backgrounds were done. I mean, some were. They had various iterations of shots. So when you make a movie, you get iterations of shots. Sometimes for editorial purposes, you might get 10 or 20 different iterations of effect shots. That's why a lot of the time in trailers, you'll see effect shots that don't look as good as they should, and then in the finished film, they'll look better. So there was a lot of stuff in early trailers for Justice League that were visual effect shots that were Zack Snyder's that we never saw in the final cut of Justice League. Those were iterations, probably not finished iterations of the shots, but you turn them over when you get a shot from the effects house and it's a final. They've turned over the finals is what it's called, and so there was a lot of that, and that's why it cost $70 million. It didn't cost $70 million because they did 4 minutes of reshoots. It cost $70 million because that's how many effect shots they had to do. Yeah, I mean, it was nowhere near being shown, and no one wants to watch. I mean, there's deleted scenes on some of the Marvel films, like on Endgame and stuff. They did the whole scene on Vormir with Hawkeye and on Black Widow. There's a whole alternate version of that when they get the Soul Stone where Thanos attacks. And it's a deleted scene that they didn't put. They reworked the scene in the movie, but in the version you can watch it on Disney Plus. You see Thanos attack them on Vormir. It's a cool scene, but they decided to go in a different direction. And so what we're going to see in the Snyder Cut is going to be his version of the film that's got characters that we've never seen before, and it's going to be great. I'm really excited for it. I can't wait. Yeah. I think it's going to make Man of Steel and Batman v Superman even better. They're releasing a new version of Batman v Superman in the full-on IMAX ratio, the same way that Justice League has been finished, which is really exciting. But I think it's odd that everyone's like, see, look, all I was saying was I go back and look, and I look at things, and I'm like, the reason that there was never going to be a Snyder Cut is that there was no one who was going to pay for it. There were two things that were a problem. One, they already finished Justice League. Justice League was a movie that came out rightly or wrongly. So you have contracts that you have to abide by. WGA contracts, DGA contracts, Directors Guild, and all the actors' contracts. And if you wanted to go and do the kind of thing that they were planning on doing, you would have had to renegotiate. Part of the reason it cost $70 million is everybody had to get paid again. Had to get paid again based on the guild contract. So you had to figure that.
Do you know who didn't get paid?
What's that?
Do you know who didn't get paid?
Yep. Zack Snyder. Not getting paid. He didn't take any money to do it. And I'm sure I understand that. I mean, he wants to get his vision out there. Someone else is going to pay for it. All the actors need to get paid. Effects people need to get paid. And
integrity, though.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that's what it's all about. And that's why standing behind the Snyder Cut was always, I just never thought it would happen, to be honest. And nothing like this has ever happened in Hollywood history. Someone keeps bringing up, well, what about Richard Donner's version of Superman? Yeah, but that was kind of a different thing, and it was a different situation, and it wasn't as fully realized as the Snyder Cut is going to be. So I'm looking forward to that. But I think it's a win for all of us. I think going back and going, well, you said you were not a supporter. It wasn't that I wasn't a supporter. I just didn't ever think it was going to happen. I'm like, how do you, as somebody who works in the film business, I'm like, who's going to, the only way it would have happened is if somebody would find value in it. Well, I said on my show in November of 2019, I said, you know what? HBO Max, for the very first time, and I said this back on like November 23rd, I said HBO Max can now make this happen. If there's going to be a Snyder Cut, and I think there could be, HBO Max will come in and pay for it because that's what they needed. And I thought it would be like they were going to talking about doing it as hour-long episodes. I was like, it's going to be $20 million an episode. And people are like, it's never going to cost that much money. It's almost done. I'm like, no, it's not almost done. And because, you know, that's, you just have to understand how these things get made. But anyway, I want to thank you guys. Dan, I want to thank you for writing in, but it's not a loss. I think it's a win for all of us. It's a win for Zach. It's a win for fans. It's a win for the actors. It's a win for everybody that put all their time in on his Justice League movie, and it'll be a win for us because we're going to get a black Superman hot toy figure out of it. So woohoo!
I hope so. Well, at the very least, we'll probably get a third party. And if we get a third party and the body's good, then we just put the second Henry Cavill head sculpt from the Justice League onto it.
I know. Or just get somebody to just find out whoever made that costume and have them make, you know, pay them under the table. Can you make a black version of this costume?
Yeah, I'll just spray it. I'll just get some
black, put it on there. There you go. Brendan Sheehy says, Rob, in hindsight, I think the release of Tenet was a good idea for Warner Brothers. They took a bath overall, but it did pull in $363 million in a pandemic. Money in the hand is a lot better than the similarly budgeted Wonder Woman 84, which came and went on streaming with little fanfare. Yeah, you are probably right about that, but they still took a huge bath on Tenet. They really needed it to make $1 billion. But, you know, during the pandemic, everybody had to do what they had to do. So you're not wrong. Danny Boy is here, says, Rob, I envy your Marlon Brando Jor-El figure, but I do have the Russell Crowe armored version with the accessories. I have that figure. I love that figure. That figure is a great, great, great figure. So is the Zod. The Superman, the Man of Steel figures were great. They're great figures.
I love my Zod.
It's great. Tall, Dark, and Gruesome sends in a super chat and says, damn it. Promised I wouldn't buy anything this episode, but I just got the 4th Doctor from Big Chief for 250 pounds. Good for you. That's exactly what we're supposed to do. We're
never a bad purchase.
I'm your pusher. We're your pushers here. We're here to push.
Yeah, Tom Baker, come on. And it's a great outfit. The purple. It's brilliant. You didn't do anything wrong. You did nothing wrong.
You did nothing wrong. And we're here to exonerate you. Let's see, we got 10 more minutes with you, 9 more minutes. Danny Boy says, Star Wars XXX, Rob, you certainly know how to exonerate. The show's title, fully articulated. Laugh out loud. Or exaggerate, not exonerate. Maybe both. Exaggerate. Exaggerate. Praxium says, update, I did buy Luke today. I wonder if we should keep a running tally as, like how we, or maybe I can find some way to put an indicator on your show too, where the tally of what viewers have purchased during the show. It'll be like a telethon, but it won't be money that's going to charity. It's money that's going directly to Sideshow or now Big Chief. And we could just put up the different, like, Toys Wonderland, Sideshow, Big Chief, 1/6 Outfitters, Big Bad Toy Store. We should figure out a way to have an indicator, and we'll see which store made the most today. Danny Boy said, Rob, I put the link to the website's promo page for Zack Snyder's Justice League 6-scale figures into the chat a little while ago. It's from the Weta Workshop. Wait, the Weta Workshop is doing 6-scale figures from Zack Snyder's Justice League and not Hot Toys?
What?
Are they figures or statues? Ooh, let's check on this right now. Weta Workshop, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay.
Oh, God. Do you think Rescue's going to come with one of Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina candles?
Wow, okay, 6 days ago, let's see what this is. Because they did sculptures. Okay, here it's Weta Workshop teams with Zack Snyder's Justice League. They've announced that they've joined forces with Zack Snyder's Justice League. Today we got our first glimpse of a new Superman statue. Resurrected in quarter scale, the Superman statue will be fully revealed in a couple of weeks. This looks pretty badass. So they are, I have to tell you, one of the great things I got working on Superman Returns is I have a statue that they made of Superman, Brandon Routh, holding up the Mustang that Parker Posey was driving. Yeah. And they ended up not being able to manufacture those publicly because of a rights issue with the Siegel and Schuster estate having to do with the cover of Action Comics 1. So they only made 5, and Bryan Singer made sure I got one of them.
Oh, good.
So that's pretty cool. Craig Stratton sends in a tip and says, I never thought I would see the day when a villain best known for wanting to kill and skin puppies to make a fur coat would get a backstory told. I really hope they don't make Cruella a sympathetic character. I mean, she wants to kill puppies. Well, what are we going to do?
It's the epitome of Disney. That is to me nowadays. They have no idea what a villain and a hero is.
It's pretty...
You get Maleficent, whatever. Let's make Angelina Jolie's character as sympathetic. They're going to do exactly the same with Cruella. She's going to have some struggle that made her the way she is. Probably some white dude. Let's just be honest. Probably some white dude sent her down this avenue of despair. And it's just stop. Stop it. Can we get some people in who understand heroes and understand villains? It's Shades of Grey. It's not Shades of Grey. It's big piles of shit. Not Shades of Grey.
I know. Chloe sent in a tip. Chloe, I'm going to read this on Robservations because it's more of a movie-related general question and not necessarily at action figures. I hope that's okay with you. I have a letter to read. This letter comes from Enterprise H, NCC 1701H. Okay. And here it goes. Those who toy with the toys. Ooh, you're going to like this one. Greetings. First of all, did you check out the Bionicle game that I sent you the link for? I didn't see that link. But Bionicle, the Lego offshoot. Secondly, I proposed Bionicle because it is a dead toy line. I mean, technically, there is the reboot, but the toys feel completely different. Of course, I don't know whether you buy action figures to own or collect them. There's no end to collecting, after all. No, I buy them to own them. This leads to somewhat of a philosophical question, which at least some Star Trek fans seem to enjoy. Oh, this is a good one, Az. If you, meaning you, Az, if you were to own a holodeck, which could create and dismiss holograms of all action figures that you could possibly desire, would you still want to own physical ones? That's his question. P.S. He says, I know this stream is about toys, so don't read this if you don't want to, but since the both of you are familiar with Eagle Moss and your co-host seems to be into comics, I was curious to know if Az ever read Marvel's Star Trek The Early Voyages, that's the Captain Pike series, and what he thinks of it.
I never, but I do have the DC TNG run.
Yeah. That Pike run, that was my favorite of the Marvel comics when they took over in the mid to late 90s. They took over the license from DC, and the Early Voyages comics were great. And if Strange New Worlds can be similar, I'll watch that show.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I know.
Same Strange New Worlds that they said with every show so far and every series of Discovery. It's going to be more hopeful. It's going to be that. No, it's not. It's not. It's a hook. It's a hook. It's a hook. And as regards to the holodeck question, goddamn, that's a good question. I mean, it really saves on space. I guess you could transfer your program wherever you went if you move ship, or you could have your own personal holodeck at home.
See,
I guess if you had a holodeck, you wouldn't need physical product anymore.
No.
Because your holodeck would be your one-stop, all-source entertainment. And I don't say this callously, but, you know, let's just say you're single as well. It would cater everything to you. From your favorite shows, to your favorite products, to your favorite women, to your favorite friends, to your favorite past. It would do everything. So I imagine if we had holodeck facilities, my bedroom would be very Spartan, or my My house would be small and compact, and Spartan. Yeah, and I think that would cater. That would cater to your every need, because you could say, yeah, but what about touching, the physicality of it? When you're on the holodeck, that's what you're doing still, and you're still getting all the textures, you're still getting all the weight, and everything that would go alongside that with the programmed item. So it would make physical collecting redundant, I would say.
You know what though? I completely agree with you. But I think one of the fun things, especially about Hot Toys, is the fact that it was designed and made by human beings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the fact that they're able to take the texture of a fabric and miniaturize it into 6-scale form and make it work. I mean, I think that's the whole experience, especially of having a Hot Toy, of opening the box, the way it's collector friendly, and you get to take the stuff out and play with the pieces and smell that weird plastic smell that is so intoxicating.
If you were to do it in the future, it would just be teleported to you.
Yeah, and
replicator, so all that would be lost.
Yeah, I don't think it would be as fun. Like, I don't like, why collect something? The whole point of collecting something is, I think that if you just wanted them on the shelf, I mean, I might use holographic augmentation for my collection. Like, oh, I wasn't able to get Hela or Gladiator Thor or Gladiator Hulk from Ragnarok. I don't have those figures. Those are my most.
Though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's not. I don't know if it'd be fun anymore. The whole thing about collecting is you have to collect physical objects, and it's having them is fine, but I think I would need more. Remember,
I'm trying to view it through the lens of the time. And at that time, you know, we've already been made aware that the desire to accumulate things has passed.
Yeah.
People go, yeah, but Picard, when he got the thingamajiggy from the archaeology.
The Kurlan Neskar.
Yeah, the Kurlan Neskar. That's just, you know, that's like that's just kind of like a one-off here and there. But if you look at his ready room, it's very Spartan. If you look at his quarters, very Spartan. When you see the excitement, when you see the activity, when you see the imagination in the show, it all comes through the holodeck. It all comes through the holodeck, and the holodeck would become so second nature. The way that we physically purchase is second nature. Oh, I want the Mark 85. I go to this, I order it, That wouldn't be the second nature reaction in that time. It would be, I'm going to go to the holodeck. I could hollow me up a simulation of me in Hong Kong.
Right.
And in the manufacturers. And I'm arriving at the manufacturers. And the owner, he's being so kind to me. And he's taking me through the shop. And he's presenting me with some beautiful green tea for me to drink as we're going through the process of how they created it, and packaged it up, and and then he presents me with one at the end, and I take it back to my holo house, and I place it outside. Computer freeze program. I've got to go on shift. That would be the second nature in that time.
Yep. But it's an interesting question. Like,
it's a great question.
It's a great question. Listen, we have reached the end of our time with you. It's 2:20, and you need to go on another adventure. I will go do my show. But once again, it seemed like the show lasted 5 minutes. I don't understand. It's great. What a wide array of things to show. Next week I know I'll have something great to show. I think you and I might have the same things to show.
We might be twinsies.
I think we have to open them together. I will, if it comes. I thought it was gonna come. It didn't come, but we'll open it together and we'll have an unboxing together and comment as we go.
Yeah,
that could be. We haven't done that before. And on that note, As I want to thank you for being here. Next week we're on your channel, Heel versus Babyface on YouTube. If you don't already subscribe to his channel, do that, and subscribe to mine too. You know, I'm lagging behind, but I've been doing this for a shorter period of time. But I want to thank. I've got a lot of new viewers this month, over 3,000 new subscribers. So thank you all very much, which has been terrific. And thanks for supporting the channel. I want to thank my moderating staff. Josh Levesque is here. He does a great job. I want to thank the Richard. Robert Pariso is here. Thank you guys for moderating this show. And I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel via super chats and tips. And also, if you want to send us letters, you can send us letters at the Burnettwork.net website. Send us letters. We will read them aloud on the show, and you can be as fully articulated as we are. And do you have any? Yeah, yes, for those who want to know, Star Wars XXX. Yep. It was Biggs Darklighter. No, actually, Ross Campbell. Ross Campbell played Biggs Darklighter. And for those of you who don't know who Ross Campbell is, let's take a quick reminder. There he is, Ross Campbell. And on that note, Ross Campbell will take you out. Thanks for being here, everybody, and we'll see you on our next stream. So, goodbye, sir.